All right, it is 20 minutes after 8 on your Thursday morning. That means time for us to talk Cleveland Guardians baseball. And this morning, of course, we have with us Bobby DiBiasio. And gee, Bob, just when we thought it was safe to assume that the bats were resurrected, they left them. They left them back in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Good morning, Pam.
Morning.
We knew this was going to be a pretty tough road trip. Padres a pretty good baseball team, obviously, and the surprise team of the National League, similar to what the Baltimore Orioles have been doing in the American League, the Arizona Diamondbacks. We go to them this weekend. So a tough 6-game road trip that you were hoping we could keep the trend of winning series. We've done pretty good winning 5 series in a row, and um, it just hasn't been a good visit to Petco Park just yet. Hopefully, Logan Allen can shut down their bats and we can sneak out a win before we head to Phoenix.
Yeah, and I guess, we've talked about this before, but I guess it does, continue the theme of the lack of consistency. And that's really what it boils down to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all you strive for in the game of baseball when you play, obviously, 162 over 6 months is just having a consistent approach each at bat. It's not easy. And one of the most difficult things to do in all the professional sports is hit a baseball. And, Pam, I saw a statistic the other day, and they were chatting, Hammy chatted about it a little bit. So did the boys on television. Really a weird stat that fastballs, hitters who are seeing the most fastballs. Number one in the in Major League Baseball is Mike, or in the American League is Mike Trout. You would think you wouldn't throw him a whole lot of fastballs because he's a superstar, but for some reason he's just not catching up to him as much this year. Number 2 is Miles Straw, and number 3 is Stephen Kwan.
Oh,
So
no kidding.
yeah, so that as we talked about how are teams going to pitch, and how over the off season did they analyze our guys not sneaking up on people, and what our guys now have to make sure that they adjust to what's being done to them by opposing pitchers. And it's just an oddity that fastballs seem to be the thing, and
Yeah.
um, and that getting Stephen Kwan on base, getting Miles Straw on base is part of who we are. They were in the top in stolen bases last year. That's part of our game. We need to run. We just haven't been consistent in getting on base enough. And then the middle of the lineup, Hosey and Josh Naylor, who's been on fire.
Yeah.
Josh Bell, who's starting around into form. Andres Jimenez has started to hit a little bit. But those 4 guys are really going to make our offense do some things. So, but I look back, Pam, at where we were a year ago at this time. So in mid-June, we were in second place, 2.5 games back of Minnesota. Right
Yeah.
now, we're in second place, 3.5 back. The only difference is we were 3 games over 500 instead of a few games under 500 now. So we still have some time to right the ship for sure.
Yeah, as long as you're keeping pace. I mean, so when do they come back home after this?
Tuesday.
Thursday.
We get one of the hottest teams in baseball, the Oakland A's. It just shows you what a crazy game our business is, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've won 7 of their last 10. I think they had, a 6-7 game winning streak. They've just, I think Kansas City has now been moved down to have the worst record in Major League Baseball, and Oakland's now number 2 instead of at the bottom with all their announcement of moving to Vegas, et cetera, which has, affected that franchise, of course. Pretty interesting that Oakland comes to town at a time when they're hot.
Yeah, right, of course.
Yeah, and then And then we have another National League team coming to town in the Milwaukee Brewers for the weekend. And let's see if we can get our third straight weekend where we get more than 90,000 people at the ballpark. That would be awesome.
The crowds were great. It was, it was fun to watch, and it was a great series. And like you said, continuing the trend of winning the series, that was the best part too.
Yeah, that Friday night game was pretty wild. It was it was a product of for whatever people think about the man on second base in extra innings. I thought I would hate it. I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was, youth baseball being brought to big league baseball. And now I love it. I just think it adds a whole different element to the game, and it's wonderful. If we don't have that Friday night game when both teams are scoring and it's back and forth, and it's just instead of 14 inning, game of extra innings, nobody can get on base and nobody can score. You had action, and it just heightened the excitement of a remarkable baseball game. And then Shane Bieber doing his thing, rising up like an ace should on that Sunday against Houston. So that, again, back-to-back great weekend, St. Louis Cardinals, Houston Astros, great crowds, great series wins. And let's see if that repeats itself when we return home. So a lot of fun. CleeGuardians.com. We got promotions, Andres Jimenez bobblehead, a trucker cap giveaway. We have fireworks, Sugardale Dollar Dogs, etc. So check it all out.
Concert coming up too, right? Walk the Moon. Don't you have Walk the Moon?
Yeah, on Saturday, Walk the Moon is a post-game concert. Game time's 4:00. So instead of a Saturday fireworks, it's a post-game concert. So those who are familiar with Walk the Moon will have some fun with that. Again, to get information and tickets, it's CleeGuardians.com to learn all about it.
Well, happy Father's Day, Bob.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
It's my second as a grandpa, so that's even more special. And one more on the way, and hopefully two as we're working through some things. So
woohoo! That's good. Very good. Enjoy the weekend, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Go Guardians.
Now, Money News at 25 and